Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about Bari Weiss, CBS News, and some new terminology that has entered the lexicon, right? Remember when everybody was called a Nazi? That was a much simpler time, wasn't it? It seems like only yesterday that we were all called Nazis. Then they moved the goalpost and they started calling people fascists to differentiate from Nazis, I guess, because some people on that side don't like Jewish people very much either now. So we got to move that goalpost. And now we've got a new term called MAGA-curious. Yes, Bari Weiss, the gay Jewish centrist woman, is for the MAGA-curious. She's the new gateway. They really hate her. And I'm going to tell you why they hate her so much. It's because they don't control this media outlet anymore. That's what this is all about. We basically had far left control of the media for 10 to 15 years. And Bari Weiss is coming in and she's in charge of CBS News. And of course, you know, Skydance, the Ellisons are buying up everything. I think they'll probably wind up with Warner Brothers and CNN before it's all said and done. I'm just saying. And yeah, so she comes in, she's like, let's move things back to center. And now they're calling CBS MAGA media over on MSNBC. I think CBS is going to last longer than MSNBC. And we've got Dan Rather out there too. It's like, dude, you got fired for lying. Okay, it's like, come on, yeah, you're not really the bastion of journalistic integrity that you used to be, or that we thought you were. And yeah, here we go. MAGA-curious. We're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com. Sign up for the free newsletter. We do have paywalled content that is completely optional. This will make sure that you get notified when we post new videos. So thank you very much. We're going to try to build up the website side of things, I think. You know, for all those MAGA-curious people. It's so weird because we're not even MAGA. I don't even consider myself a true conservative. I think anyone that's actually listened to our show over the last couple of years would see that I don't really consider myself a true conservative. But if you're not far left, you're MAGA-curious, right? So that's where we all are. Basically, 95% of the American population, according to these people, is now MAGA-curious. Oh, God. So this is, what's this one coming from? This is coming from Daily Beast. MAGA-curious new boss shades staff in both sides memo. Yeah, they're really mad about her. We got a couple other articles here. This one's from a couple of weeks ago. Media's MAGA makeover. MAGA Light, why Bari Weiss is so dangerous. And here's Bari Weiss faces a snake pit as she eyes overhaul of left-leaning CBS News. Yeah, they're not going to let her go down. They thought she was gone. They got rid of her. They made it as hard for her as possible, and she left on her own, I guess, at the New York Times. But she defected, so she's actually worse. If you're a defector, you're actually worse. If you leave the cult, they come after you so much harder, right? And you can see so many people that were on the left that jump ship from the Democratic Party, and they go after those people harder because everybody's a potential convert, right? But if you've left the cult, then you're dangerous because you know all the inside tricks, how things work, and they hate that. So yeah, CBS's brand new MAGA-curious boss, Bari Weiss, opened her tenure with a thinly veiled critique of the newsroom she's inheriting. Paramount Skydance announced on Monday that it had acquired the Free Press, the digital media outlet Weiss, who calls herself a centrist. Founded in 2021 with her wife, journalist Nellie Bowles, and her sister, Susie Weiss. Let me just want to put this, calls herself a centrist with her wife. Clearly far-right, conservative, Christian, very, very traditional. God, she dated, what's-her-face from Ghostbusters 2016. Kate McKinnon. She's actually, I would say Kate McKinnon is actually one of the funniest people on SNL. But yeah, they dated for a while, I guess. Anyway, it grew from a Substack newsletter often critical of progressive orthodoxy, cancel culture, and identity politics. Yeah. How's that? And identity politics to a newsroom of 50 employees working against what Weiss sees as legacy media's woke orthodoxy. Yes, if you are not super far left, you're basically a Nazi. Well, I'm sorry, we can't use that term anymore because, you know, some of those people like what they were doing. It's fascist. Fascist is the term we're using now. Grifter, Gamergater. We got another video coming up on Gamergate. The $150 million cash and stock deal places Weiss, 41, at the top of America's most storied news division, or one of them, overseeing hundreds of producers, anchors, and reporters around the globe as CBS News' new editor-in-chief. Yeah, she had 50 people working for her. Weiss risked rankling her new team on Monday when she sent out a memo that suggested CBS had not been holding both sides of the political divide to the same standards. In the note to staff, Weiss laid out 10 core principles for the network, including the promise to produce journalism that holds both American political parties to equal scrutiny. So, again, why are they so ass mad? Well, because she's a centrist, and she's going to be like, hey, we're gonna be even-handed in our criticism. That's one of the big things that we here at Clownfish TV. You know, we don't have quite the staff that she does, but we try to do is we try to be balanced, but even being balanced in current year to these people looks like far-right extremism. I mean, it really does. It's insane the stuff that people get mad at us for that I've seen over the years. And it's actually gotten worse since Trump got reelected. Like everything is like they're out there on Reddit trying to stir shit up and saying that we said things we didn't actually say. And, you know, anybody who actually listens to us kind of knows where we're at. You know, I would say I'm probably even a little bit further. I might be a little bit further left than Geeky is. But yeah, I mean, we're disaffected liberals. The party left us behind, and that doesn't necessarily make us MAGA-curious. But I would like the country to get shit together. Can we put together an America Get Your Shit Together party? That would be cool. I'd do that. America, get your shit together. In an unusual arrangement, yeah, she reports directly to David Ellison. David Ellison, who is the son of Larry Ellison, who runs Oracle, who is BFFs with Trump. They're also going to be involved in TikTok. That's going to be interesting when that happens. And they're probably going to buy Warner Brothers and get CNN. That's also going to be interesting when that happens. And that's what they're freaking out about. It's not just Bari Weiss. Let's be very clear. It's not just Bari Weiss. It's that the entire media landscape, Trump played the Uno reverse card on them. Everything's getting flipped, and they're flipping their shit out. And look, the pendulum's going to swing back the other way eventually. It always does. I would like for it to settle in the middle. That would be great. I don't see that happening anytime soon because one side pushes too hard and the other side pushes back harder. But it's very, very clear that it feels like we're living in two different countries now. Now, oh God, now I'm going to be channeling Tim Pool. But it does kind of feel like we're living in two different realities. And there's the reality for the bulk of Americans. And then there's the reality that like New York and LA would like to perpetuate, which is unreality. It doesn't exist outside of their bubbles. A lot of these people do not leave their bubbles on the coast and see what the rest of America is actually like. So they have a very distorted view. And to them, like the worst thing ever is Trump getting reelected president. And they obsess about it all damn day. Meanwhile, there are people out there losing jobs, people starving, people getting fired from their jobs for microaggressions, all this crazy shit that's going on in this country. Real Americans, I'm going to be honest, most Americans only care about kind of what directly affects them, right? So it's going to be the job situation, the economics, they got enough food, are they healthy, happy? You know what I'm saying? That's what, a chicken in every pot. That's what they care about, right? So these people just being like, if things are good, I mean, right now the economy is not great. I'm going to be honest. It's as a small business owner, it's not great. I think it will probably get better. I hope it gets better, but if it gets really, really good, That's all Americans are going to care about, most of them. They're not going to care about, oh my God, guys, they're not letting trans people in the military anymore. What are we going to do? Now, that's an LA problem. That's a New York problem. The general public doesn't care. They just don't. So Paramount and Weiss are going to partner with CBS News President Tom Zebrowski to unify editorial leadership. We'll see how far that goes. It says it's an important initiative for the company. Ellison wrote in his own note to staff, adding that Weiss would help make CBS the most trusted name in news. But they hate it. They hate it. She's MAGA-curious. Oh my God, guys, she's also Jewish and gay. So, like I said, clearly very, very far right, very conservative. It's like, come on. Weiss has been critical of populism in the past. Yeah. Said she hasn't gone full MAGA and endorsed Trump. The Free Press has ingratiated itself with the president's supporters because of his anti-woke output. You know what? Here's the thing. Sometimes you find yourself aligned with people that maybe you don't agree with 100%, but you realize there's a common problem, right? Bill Maher falls into this category as well. I think we do, where, if the left wasn't so batshit crazy, it might be worth kind of throwing in, but it's gone insane. We've seen them eat their own. Doesn't mean we're like enthusiastically endorsing everything that, you're, I don't want to say you're run-of-the-mill Republican, but your further right Republican endorses. Just say that we're probably not there. I don't consider us MAGA-curious. I just consider us normal, like normal people that really don't want to be bothered with any of this shit, but it came knocking on our front door because we worked in the entertainment industry. We worked in tech, and it was just there. It just showed up one day out of the blue, claiming that we were perpetuating microaggressions against it or some crazy shit. But, apparently, though, Weiss has been critical of populism, too. So I don't know. I think we need some balance. And I just think it's funny. I just think it's very, very funny that they're calling her MAGA-curious. MAGA light. Why? Okay, why is Bari Weiss so dangerous? Let's see here. The New Republic. I said, okay, for most of my life, this is an opinion piece, obviously. The ascent of Bari Weiss, at first glance, seems like a media story, but it's really a story about American politics and the two major parties. There's a new kind of moderate Republican, best exemplified by Weiss. And this kind of Republican is poised to keep gaining power and shifting the country to the right in harmful and destructive ways, even if they never have the political power of more explicitly pro-Trump conservatives. So being middle of the road is dangerous. People used to call us alt-light. They said that we were a gateway to channels that went harder in the paint in the politics, like the quartering or whatever. I'm like, bitch, I don't even know. Like most of the people they were comparing us to, I don't even know. I think I've talked to the quartering maybe 2 or 3 times in 7 years, briefly. Like I don't even know some of these people. Like it was like, you're like critical drinker. I don't even know him. I don't even talk to him. It's so fucking weird. And he talks about movies and shit. I don't consider him far right either. He's just like, yeah, these movies are shit and they're woke. And I'm going to bother doing the Scottish accent. I can't do it. But this is what they're afraid of. They're afraid that normies are going to take over. So they have to say that even the moderates are extreme. Again, let's reread this. There's a new kind of moderate Republican. This kind of Republican is poised to keep gaining power and shifting the country to the right in harmful and destructive ways, even if they never have the political power of more explicitly pro-Trump conservatives. So, enter a new brand of conservatism. Weiss and her allies don't generally identify as conservatives or Republican. Yeah, same here. Politically homeless, same here. They aren't conservative Christians opposed to gay marriage, abortion, and immigration. Okay, so why are you so pissed? In fact, Weiss is married to a woman, so why are you so pissed? So they are to the left of where the average Trump voter is. Are they? I don't know. That map was pretty red. I'm just saying, what's the average Trump voter? There were an awful lot of them. Therefore, their views on social issues are palatable in the urban coastal elite settings where many of them live. At the same time, unlike the Romney Republicans, they do have an agenda that is both distinct from the rest of the party and more adapted to the 2020s. The Free Press, the publication Weiss founded, is obsessed with left-wing students and professors at elite colleges, diversity initiatives, and pro-Palestine activism, cancel culture, and other causes, and people that puts under the frame of wokeness. Yeah, because a lot of this stuff we found out, it either doesn't work or it's just outright dangerous. Okay? And the colleges are turning out a lot of truly deranged people who don't have a grasp on reality. So I do agree with Bari Weiss there. And this is a New York intellectual, okay? And she's like, yeah, the colleges are turning out woke activists. They're weaponizing the colleges. You're paying the colleges to turn your kids, their students, into foot soldiers in some bizarre ideological war. So yeah, I agree with Bari Weiss on that. 100%. That's not what it used to be. Right? I mean, we're from a different time. Like I said, I personally, I consider myself a 90s liberal. I grew up on both coasts. I was born in Pennsylvania and lived there for a while. Then I moved to California, to the Bay Area. Okay, which is pretty liberal. And that wasn't as liberal as it is now, but it was a lot cleaner back then. I remember it being a lot cleaner. But I lived there for a while, and then I moved back east. And now we're in the Pittsburgh area. Everybody knows that. And, Pittsburgh's, blue collar, but still, I mean, we have a lot of like old school Democrats. John Fetterman is very indicative of a Pittsburgh area Democrat. But yeah, the party's changed, right? But this is dangerous. This is dangerous to them. MAGA-curious. So that's what they view everybody who's centrist, anybody who will actually hear out the other side, they view them as potential enemies. That should terrify you. That's scary. Because even if you listen to somebody else, I mean, we saw this firsthand. We saw it, if you follow the wrong people on Twitter, you're an alt-right Nazi or whatever. I mean, it's just the craziest shit. And I do think it originates from colleges. I think and I do think that the far left social media pushes that culture. And you want to talk about cancel culture. Basically, we can't have anybody with any ideological differences in our midst because I'll tell you, it's not because they're immoral or whatever. They're afraid that their foot soldiers are going to listen to these people. It's kind of like this one church I went to. It was a cult, basically. And you were not allowed to talk to certain Christians of other denominations because in their mind, it was the devil trying to work his way into your mind to pull you away from that particular brand of Christianity. It wasn't about staying away from these people because you thought they were immoral. It was about keeping your foot soldiers away from people that might speak some common sense to them and sway them to turn against the organization. And that's what's going on here, right? That's why I think cancel culture at the end of the day, I think this was all about. It's basically not like, no, we can't let these people out there, because they're going to give our newly minted college graduates funny ideas. We can't let Bari Weiss out there because, well, she's not an extremist. So we have to paint her as MAGA-curious. I mean, that's some grade A horse shit. But yeah, look for a lot of screeching in the next year or two. Like I said, the Ellisons are going to be buying up a lot, including TikTok. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. I think they're going to own too much, but shit's going to get real, man. It's going to get real. I mean, if they're going after Bari Weiss, who is mild, very, very mild, right? And probably where most liberals were in the 90s, then there's no hope for the far left. I mean, they view everybody as an enemy, and it's really about control. They want to control the media. They've controlled it. She's a threat. There's going to be more of it. And eventually they'll shut down Ms. Now or MSNBC or whatever the hell they're calling it. And a lot of these other outlets too. Or somebody like, Larry Ellison will come in and buy it. And that'll be the end of it. So I don't know, guys. It's going to be crazy times. Crazy times. Going to wrap it up. Please subscribe and we'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.